went to this like wellness event for people who have been involved in the protests, and also just like kind of this group that's buying back the block. And it was really cool and really interesting, and it's really like for helping underprivileged areas, and it's a grassroots group, and I want to learn more and do more with them because the founder was like super nice and chill, and like it was cool. Today also the city council has voted to dismantle, defund, and like recreate policing in Minneapolis. And when I mean recreate, I mean like do something completely different, because the discussion with abolishing the police is abolishing policing as we know it. It's defunding it. It is moving resources to other areas for crime prevention, having more social workers, having more mental health care providers. It's like in a mental health care crisis, having them come instead of the police. And there still will be probably some policing force, but hopefully if they are there, or if they're there, because it feels very weird about like certain crimes, like how if there is a violent crime occurring, who's going to be there? But having people with much more education on criminology and yearly, like, or like 2 yearly, like every other yearly evaluation, like if a cop has less time of training than a barber and they don't get checked up, if they get checked less, like reevaluated less than a fucking car for their smog, there's a problem there. But besides that, today I got to see my boyfriend, and we got to go on a walk and just kind of spend time together, and got to see 2 of my other friends, and hang out with them. The Sophia's in this whole thing of we can't baby Leah, and I struggle with that a bit. I try to help her because like she is mentally really struggling. Like the COVID did a lot to her with being a nurse, but this freaking thermostat is where they're gonna die on, and I'm like, and she like Sophia was probably annoyed that I had done at one point Aaliyah's dishes because I was kind of fed up. I was gonna clean them. I mean, like, I know I'm not the best always cleaning my dishes, but I like do it within like the day. Okay, sometimes I leave the mug there, but I try not to do a lot. It's tiring just dealing with everybody, and some days I'm like, I can't wait for neither one of them to be around and I can just be by myself. Sometimes I miss living by myself. So it's the end of Monday. It's been a long day. Not really. Emotionally kind of draining. Just because I've been stressed because like Aaliyah hasn't been home. She's all pissed and Sophia's all pissed and I'm just there like I don't care. I'm tired. And then I just got a text from my friend. I knew her dad was going into surgery today, or tomorrow, not today. He's going in for surgery tomorrow for a heart valve, and his heart condition has gotten worse, and I feel the utmost sympathy and the scare and like the fear. I mean, my dad's heart hasn't even been that as serious, and I was scared and freaking out, and I wasn't even home, which could go either way, but it's on the causing extra fear, but it's a lot. I'm just thinking about that and how scared she must be, and I already get touchy with my dad. It's hard stuff, I know. I cried a couple weeks ago when I had my graduation about that. It's weird. Today I did pick up some groceries. It was like 90 plus degrees. It's painful coming back. I was just sweating, like full on layer sweat. Felt guilty. I didn't do much educating myself or anything. I think also Minnesota's still in this weird haze of our city council has gone to defunding our police, which is good. Defunding and dismantling. and looking into different alternatives and abolishing policing as we know it. But it's weird and crazy. So it is the end of Tuesday. I actually was able to go get dinner with my boyfriend. We just ordered and ate here in the apartment. We got Sirly pizza, it was really good, and a pretzel. So that was all I did today. Didn't go out much because it was raining. And then also I was on like a Zoom call for 5.5 hours. Because, or 6 maybe even, 6 actually I think. Because Emily's dad had heart surgery today. And so she just needed a distraction. So we were her distraction. We just talked, and myself and Ferva, and then my friend Hudson showed up at the end, and I had left because I was getting ready for my date. But others, Emily co-hosted, so it just could go on as long as she needed it to. And that was great. And we just talked and we had fun, and I miss them. We talk periodically. We could talk for hours. That was honestly about it today. My uncle did invite me to a Facebook group that is for people who are still wanting to virtually protest, and that was pretty fun and cool. And I need to do more on Facebook on that, but besides that, Emily and Sophia and I just watched Despicable Me. There's something about being like 20-something-year-olds watching it, and you're just like, oh my god, the family dynamic, and they're so sweet. Oh my god, I love it. Speaking of family stuff, I don't get it with, so this is both with Emily and Maggie, is there seems to be this family dynamic where they have the younger sibling who is almost seen as the model sibling, like as they get older, and then the parents like have given up on parenting the older child and just want the younger child to parent the older sibling. It's like, that's not fair. It's already not fair to have the older sibling try to parent having the older sibling parent the younger sibling. That's literally like a form of child abuse called parenting, or like something that like along those lines. My mother was sadly a victim to it, kind of, with her and her siblings and cousins. But like they're having that happen with like the younger kids, doing that to the older siblings who just don't seem to apply themselves, and it's really ridiculous. But yeah. So my hair is really messy, but whatever. So today it's past midnight, but it was Wednesday, and I got into Brown. I got that email today. But I have like a week to decide, which is crazy because it's hella expensive. But I may be going to an Ivy League. Who would have thought that when this all started? Besides that, Maggie and I just hung out. I needed somebody to vent to. I need to finish applying to Purdue, and then I need to email Tim again about like possibly about the grad school other letters direct. I'm probably just gonna email him saying, hey, I got it to the one. Whenever you can get to the others. Don't want to push him too much. But yeah, it's cool. I'm doing stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Alia's back. She works tomorrow, and then Sophia's gonna be gone this weekend, so I may have the apartment to myself, and I'm gonna probably go crazy. But whatever. Yeah, don't have anything to talk about. So it's the end of Thursday. I just went on a walk with Maggie, and that was it. We dropped off her textbooks, and then we were going to get ice cream, but the ice cream place was closed, so we ended up just going to Trader Joe's, and I picked up a couple more frozen things, and I'm just kind of in this weird haze still. It's the same feeling I've been in all week. I don't really know. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do more crafting stuff. Like, maybe that's how I help like support myself for the summer. Really how I like get a little bit of money beforehand for like for grad school, but maybe open up an Etsy shop and make ornaments, because I made ornaments for Christmas and they were pretty darn cute. That's a whole thing because my grandmother had made homemade ornaments, and or maybe I made homemade ornaments. I'm not totally sure who made what, but there was a lot of ornaments that were made, and there were very special ones. And so I made my own version of them for my sisters. And at least with the oldest, she started crying when she opened up her gift, because she had no idea. And I'd made something very like the same as the ones that were officially my older sister's version. So those I would not put up. Like most of the very like family specific ones, I wouldn't put up a similar one because it's not the same. It was those ornaments, and the reason why they're specifically for this different people, it was the last Christmas my grandmother was alive for, so they're really significant for my sisters more. I was 11 months when this all was occurring. My grandmother died when I was 16 months, so I don't really know her. Heck, I only even have one photo of me with her, so I don't really have that same sort of relationship, which I feel bad saying, but that's sadly kind of what happened, because by the time I came around, my grandmother was very sick, so she didn't want photos taken of her, and so that's something I don't really have a connection for. My mother told me a lot of stories, but photos, there were never many of them in her when I was growing up. Hey y'all, editing Obi. I didn't really totally explain the the ornaments well. So the whole thing was my grandmother's last Christmas. She had these homemade ornaments, and she had a lot of them because I've seen them at my uncle's place, as well as my mother has some, and I'm assuming my other aunt and uncle have them. But she had all of the grandkids at the time. 2 of them weren't born yet, but all the grandkids at the time pick out an ornament, and my sisters each had their specific ornaments. And like it was a whole thing when during Christmas time of when we were decorating the tree, they had to put up those ornaments. I was very little when this happened, so I don't have any recollection. I don't think I even really. My mother picked out my ornament, but I don't really have a designated ornament, so I don't have as much of a connection on those. But I wanted to, like, over Christmas, I had decided I was going to make them for my sisters, my own version of them, because we only had one set. Why not they have their own too? So there's some unique ornaments there, but there are also some that were based off of the family ornaments, and specifically off of ones that they had. Like that was their specific one. So one of them was a set of mittens, another one was Santa's bag, and then I just made my own version. So it's not even 9 on Friday. I think I've got the apartment to myself, and it's just gonna be me by myself. And for some reason that, like, some days I'm like, I want to just be by myself, anything, but right now it's just like really hitting me and kind of depressing. So yeah, I'm gonna start working on making ornaments more tomorrow. I was making some of the patterns today to make like ornaments for a possible Etsy shop that can just be used kind of to help supplement like a little bits of grad school, like paying for books and whatnot, because that's an extra expense I'm gonna incur, that I'm not looking forward to. Besides that, I don't even know. I made myself a pretty decent dinner. I made spaghetti squash and fajitas, and with that I had to walk over to the grocery store because I needed more bell peppers because I had like a pound of ground beef, so I was like, okay, I have a pound of ground beef, and so I need like 3 bell peppers, really, because I'm also going to use a full onion, and just have stuff meal prepped for the next couple of days. I'm going to have a lot of food to meal. I have a lot of food to meal prep, which is good. I don't know. I'm just in a weird state. I may call one of my friends because I'm like, I need to talk to somebody. Because I've got a lot of emotions that I'm nervous about bringing on here, just because I'm like, like, my emotions are changing so much. And I don't want to bring up stuff if it ultimately doesn't, like, pertain to what's going on. Like, if I end up, part of it's like, if I change my opinion, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm so perfect all the time. It's more of I'm still so conflicted about things. So, yeah. Okay, so another day. I need to edit. I really don't wanna, but I'm gonna have to. So I got the supplies to start making more ornaments. Besides that, there's not much really going on. I did see my boyfriend today. So what happened was earlier today I walked over to Michael's, which was about a 2-mile walk one way. Went over, got the stuff I needed, talked with my sister. I need some life advice. I'm trying to change it so the lighting isn't terrible. That's better. And then after that, I just kind of sat around, ate food, and then my boyfriend finally responded about like, hey, let's go out. And I was like, okay, I'd already eaten, but whatever. I was still like, had a pretty big calorie deficit, and then we proceeded to walk more, so I kind of worked it off because that just is how things ended up. And it's all weird and crazy right now. Personally, not even just including the world, which I feel like I've been slacking. I've been trying to listen and learn, but not been as vigilant as I once was. I'm still trying to keep my foot on the gas, but it's more of a coast at this point, which I feel super guilty about. My life itself has been on its own like roller coaster, and yeah, I don't know. My boyfriend was looking at places to work in like Connecticut, and there's so many things that are like so very actively like a future, but then I'm afraid to talk about like, hey, like speak up in some ways. I don't know. I'm not used to. It takes a lot of courage for me to speak up in those kind of ways. So yeah, I don't know. Last night I did end up calling my best friend from back home and talking with her for a while. It's good to hear her voice and good to talk to her a bit. But besides that, there's not much to say.